Fuji. Yes, you finally did it. Upgraded the X100F to the X100V. This body, I purchased the X100S back when I was in police academy 5 years ago.
Ortiz, are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Got it, bro. Taser.
I fell in love with the camera. Didn't have the greatest image quality, didn't have better image quality than my full frame cameras, but it didn't matter. That's the camera that I wanted to pick up, and that's what the magic that this camera has. And I've been waiting for an update because let's face it, the autofocus was never really good. And now they did a lot of improvements to this camera it's gonna make it so much more 2020. I'm really happy to talk about it. Let's get into some of the specs. The X100V is borrowing the same sensor as the X Pro 3, which is a good thing. I just did a photo shoot with this camera. The files are beautiful, and the best part about it, you're gonna get a lot more dynamic range with the X100V versus the F and the S. So you're getting a 26.1 megapixel sensor, back illuminated. Hello, let's go. More resolution, more dynamic range in that small body. Let's go. I am really excited for that. That's a great improvement. With that, you're getting a new lens, 23 f2. Anybody else wish it was a 1.8? I do, but I didn't expect Fuji to change the form factor of this camera. This is a timeless body, and I kind of expected them to go that route, but maybe improving the lens, because let's face it, the 23 f2 left a lot to be desired. Okay, it was a good lens, just left a lot to be desired. I'm just leave it at that. So they improved the lens. I'm really excited to see what that is like paired with the 26 megapixel sensor. I'm assuming it's gonna take some beautiful images. Fuji's supposed to send me the camera out, I think maybe in a couple of days. So stay tuned for the video, the full video, and I'll give you guys some files to play with as well, hopefully. The Fuji X100V has also borrowing the same electronic viewfinder, hybrid viewfinder on the X Pro 3. Have you guys ever looked through an EVF of the X Pro 3? It is beautiful. That's like one of the highlight features of this camera, and they're borrowing it and putting it in the X100V. Maybe that's why they're charging $1,400 for it. I don't know, but we're gonna get into the price at the end. Great viewfinder. I'm glad that they're borrowing on the X100V. The X100V has a two-way tilting screen with touch functionality. I don't know why I can't say that word. Touch functionality. Hopefully it's the same screen on this camera, because this camera has the best Fuji rear screen that I've ever seen. It's so crispy, so sharp. I mean, I've been wanting a touch. And now you can shoot from the hip and not have to do this. You know what I mean? I really hope it's this one. And I'm happy that it tilts and that it's got touch. This is a lot of 2020 going into a retro camera, which I'm really happy to see. The X100V has a lot of small ergonomic improvements. I didn't expect them to change the body style, but they have improved the grip, the buttons, small things to improve the overall experience of the camera. I'm glad they didn't change the overall format or overall look of it, because this is a timeless body. The X100V has 4 stops of ND filtration. So now you can shoot wide open, bright sunlight, and you can have that built-in ND filter, which I wish every camera had, because it's amazing, right? And that ND filter would also come in handy when you're shooting video with this camera, because this camera has been beefed up for video. Shoots 4K 30 frames per second, 120 frames per second at 1080p. These are so 2020 standard kind of video specs. And you can also shoot 10-bit 422 externally into a recorder using this camera, which leads me to believe that it's gonna be kind of like a little beast for video. And it's gonna be like a little bit of a hybrid, more of a hybrid camera this time, where this camera is gonna be better for video. And with that, it has better autofocus. This is like my biggest gripe with all of the S and the F was the autofocus. Even shooting portraits with the camera, the autofocus struggled. Now you're gonna get face and eye detection. I'm assuming it's the same out of the X Pro 3. I shot with the X Pro 3, like I said, and the face and eye detection was great. If this camera can live up to the hype with the autofocus, and it can focus down to -5 EV in low light, if it's an autofocus beast, this camera is gonna be 100% worth the $1,400 that they're asking for it. I know a lot of you probably think $1,400 is a little bit too much of money. I need to explain to you guys, this camera is not for everyone. You can't go specs for spec with this camera against, like, let's say the X-T3, which costs maybe $100 more, and you can get a camera with so many more features, you know, much more versatile camera, obviously no lens, but what I mean is that the people that buy this camera know what they're buying. It's supposed to give you like a minimalistic approach to photography where you don't have to worry about other lenses. You work with what you got, and not everybody's gonna understand it. I definitely do. I've loved these cameras even when I first started photography, because there was always something about the camera, the way it feels, the way it looks. It makes you want to pick it up and shoot. And now with a lot of these upgrades, I think the camera is definitely worth $1,400. It's not gonna be worth it to everyone. To me, it is, because I appreciate it. I mean, you know what? It's really hard to compare them, because the X100V it's gonna be better in a lot of ways. Image quality is gonna be improved. I know it is. The autofocus. This camera, when I travel, it's a camera that can do more of everything, because I can never rely on the video of the X100F. In my opinion, now you're gonna get better video. I'm really excited to test it out. Fuji's gonna send it out to me, so stay tuned for that video. I know I'm going a little bit on a rant here, but stay tuned for that video. I'm gonna do a little, maybe a little street photography with it. You know, go around, take some pictures, talk about how it feels compared to the other ones. So anyways, stay tuned for that video, and thanks for tuning in. See you then.